The stream is live.
Wow,
Dun,
we're
dun,
live. Dun,
dun.
dun, dun, dun. Live. Welcome to Live with Sobriety Bestie, burning the stigma, all the addiction and recovery things.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever, now that I'm thinking about it, I've never been live on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, never. So
This is
here
so
I
exciting.
am.
My phone's giving me a notification that we're live.
Aw.
Yeah, so anybody who is catching the replay, I just want to give you a little bit of love out there too. Feel free to comment below, join the conversation still, and ask any questions you want to ask. And I'm really excited to have you here today. We thought this would be really fun to just go to broadcast live to the Sobriety Bestie crew. So what's up out there, guys? Happy Sunday, daylight savings for the US. We gained an hour.
Yes, thank goodness.
And if you don't already know Tara, she is Tara Grace from Burn the Stigma. And here she is. We are going to be talking about addiction, recovery, life after recovery, all the things today. And so welcome, Tara, to Sobriety Bestie channel. And welcome all the viewers to, we were thinking about calling it Burnie and Bestie Live.
I think it's cute, but when you just said it out loud, it sounded funny.
Okay, so let us know in the comments. Do you prefer Tara and Kirsten live or Burnie, as in Burn the Stigma, and
Yeah.
Bestie live? Burnie and Bestie live?
Yeah.
Is this weekend at Bernie's or what are we doing?
That person. I used to love that movie when I was like 5. Oh goodness. That's so funny.
This is so cool. Okay, so something that I was thinking about this morning that I wanted to bring to this conversation, and whatever you want to bring in the comments is totally a vibe too. But really what I was thinking about as I was journaling and reflecting upon life was when questioning feels dangerous. And that's usually a sign, when we're not allowed to question something, that's usually a sign of control, right? Like in Alcoholics Anonymous, for me, the Burnie and Bestie, yeah. So there was a lot of things that made me feel very uncomfortable to question when I was in AA, but also when I was leaving AA. And this is, of course, because of the no outside literature, or that it just felt like it was dangerous to look at any other ideas. So things that I questioned, and let us know what you questioned in the comments. But is it safe to leave AA? Can I drink again? Is it the fatal progressive disease real? Am I going to die if I leave? So a lot of these things felt physically unsafe in my nervous system, meaning I would freeze, or I would feel terror, or I would just feel like I was making a bad mistake. And then God forbid, I was so actually scared that if I did leave and it was bad, the shame and horror of having to walk back into the rooms with my, what is it, tail between your legs or whatever that is, to be like, y'all were right. Like, so that was a big fear as well. And so questioning the ideology, especially at first, felt very, very scary to me.
Yeah. It's funny because while you're talking, I was thinking, I was like, for me, really, like I left before I questioned the ideology, right? Like I still thought that I was one of the few that it didn't work for, that the program did work for people, and that just for whatever reason, I was blocked from God. I couldn't, whatever, right? So I didn't start questioning it till I was already gone. So I feel like that's kind of a different, like I knew, I was like, are people really feeling all this shit? Like, are they just full of shit? Like there was some of that when I was in it, but I truly still was recommending it to people years after I left. Like I didn't know what to recommend anyone, but I was like, well, I know it didn't work for me, but it should work for everyone else, because I still believed it technically worked if you worked it. And I was the fucked up one. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to look at it, because it's really two totally different things at that point, right? Like questioning it when you're still going and still wondering like what's going to happen when I leave, versus already knowing what happens when you leave. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. It's so weird when we think about it works if you work it. We have that on one hand. And then on the other hand, we have the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different result. So if it's not working for you, but you're told to do more of what's not working, is like they're also telling you that that's insane. So there's so many like, I don't know, like mind fuckeries or like cognitive dissonance you have to hold. So questioning, yeah, that can feel super terrorizing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. You said I went back, but in another state. Like you went back to the program, but in another state.
Oh,
Oh,
look,
that's
I can put the
cool.
comments
I
up. What's
love
up? So we are
it.
so new to the live vibes here. So forgive us while we're like, what the fuck is even happening in the platform? So Blue Butterfly says, I went back, but in another state. Why is that text so big? Can I make that smaller? So what inspired you to go back? What was that about? What were you questioning it and you felt like maybe it was accurate? Are you still going? What is vibing with that? How do I?
And is it still like what? Because I know from, I mean, literally from state to state, meeting to meeting, you don't even have to move states. Like it depends. Are you going to a discussion meeting? Are you going to a big book meeting? You know? Oh,
Okay,
nobody
it was
knew.
nobody knew you. Okay, so you okay, I think I get what's happening. So you left like when I was saying I didn't want to walk back in with my tail between my legs, I was like so worried that I was going to have to walk in and be like, "Fuck, I thought I was like free, but AA was right and I have to go back." So you went back because nobody knew you. Is that what you're saying? Because that like hits me hard. I can totally needed to stop drinking and felt like it would help. Gotcha. What's up, Kate? Yeah. Yeah, this is fun to be live. We're thinking about doing these regularly, interacting, answering questions, vibing, having fun, seeing, bringing topics, and also seeing what comes to light, just to bring more. I don't know, like aliveness to kind of breathe more life into this. I feel like deprogramming, ooh, it makes me a little emotional. It can be so isolating, right? Especially the part about like leaving your community, even though you realize it's harmful and you don't want to go back, or the people who are still going to AA but no longer agree with the ideology but are going for the community. So the community piece is huge. There's that one TED Talk or that idea out there that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety or abstinence, it's connection. So I know that connection is super important, and AA for sure gave me a lot of connection, even if a lot of it was like phone action. Can I make up a word? Like when they shun you when you leave. So maybe it's more phone action than connection. No, I loved a lot of people in AA. Like there were a lot of cool people that I met. I mean, all of us were there, right? And we're a vibe. So the people in AA aren't all screwed, but our minds can be screwed when we're in there is how I think about it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy. Like when Pamela was saying that, you know, she felt like she was the only one, but when you leave and then you start to realize there is a whole recovery and healing world outside of these like little spaces, and you thought that all of recovery, like, or at least I know I did, I thought all of recovery was in those spaces, was in 12-step spaces, was in recovery institution spaces, whatever you want to call them, right? And it's just so far from the truth. There's so many people who never even went to an AA meeting, had super crazy, chaotic, you know, drug use, alcohol use, and they healed and they moved on. So it is such a, I don't even know the word. Like, because I know when I first started speaking out, I thought I was speaking to a small group. And then I started to deprogram and read things, and I was like, holy shit. And that's what gave me a voice. That's what I was like, no, there's not just a couple of us. Like, there are so many of us who are literally like living in this world that we think we have to live in or we're going to die. Like, we think these are our only options. And if we don't choose these options, then we have no other opportunity at life. And it's just so opposite. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then once you realize how many people who it's even working for, in my personal opinion, are I don't know the right word, are limiting. They're limiting themselves to what they could do because they think they have to keep themselves small and you know, in this world of gratitude and blah blah blah, all that stuff. So yeah, it's awesome when you connect with so many people.
Yeah, and that whole, like, millions saved, right? Although there's no real data on that, but if there are millions in AA, which, okay, I could buy, there's a crap load of meetings, so there's a lot of people in meetings, but the millions saved, I would even argue that it's millions oppressed, millions living mind controlled and not even knowing it, but I always like to do the caveat of, and this is gonna be a little triggering, "But for the grace of God, there go I," because I was it. So when I say they're mind controlled, I'm also talking about me. I was the one indoctrinating. I was the one indoctrinated. So I understand it. I have so much empathy for being trapped in it. But if it's millions saved, it's actually millions oppressed or millions brainwashed. I want to read out loud the Pamela's conversation for anybody who's just listening in. Thank God for you two. I've always hated AA and it made everything worse. I thought I was the only one, but now we have you, Quackaholics Anonymous, Bobby C, and you
Yeah.
are saving lives. We deserve it. I fundamentally, every time I read a comment like that, I just fundamentally, like in my core, like, and it does bring a little emotion up. I just feel like we deserve it. We deserve better. We've been lied to for a long time. The entire society and culture is in on the scam, or they've been conned as well. Friends and loved ones and society and well-meaning leaders and very smart professionals
Mm,
are also all in on the indoctrinated. They really are preaching an outdated system that is quite harmful. So it's not like, I don't really feel like even like there's anyone to blame, because it's like it was a
right.
group hypnosis. If we're going to blame someone, why don't we blame the global indoctrination, Bill Wilson
Yeah.
and Marty Mann, but they thought they were doing well too, probably. They
Right.
probably believed it. And Bill was indoctrinated by Ebby. So it happened to Bill. Bill was also conned. So like it's like chicken and egg. It's like who wasn't conned first? Like who made it all up? Who made up
Yeah, yeah, no, totally. But what always kills me is the people in the social media sphere who make content and they are, they're in the program and they're always like, excuse me, I was like, oh, it's always those people, they went to a couple of meetings and, they decided they don't like AA. It's like, no, sweetheart. AA was my whole personality. Like everything, I was all about that program and probably still know the big book better than you. Granted, I've luckily forgotten a lot of it, but I guarantee you I could still go for some big book Jeopardy and win like we used to play in rehab.
Should we
So,
call it Bill Boozled Jeopardy? Millions Bill Boozled. I love it. I
yeah,
love the Bill Boozled.
yeah,
This one though, in the comments,
mm,
millions killed.
yeah.
Okay, let's pop out of that heartbreak for a second and come to this one. Oh, where did it go? You two are the coolest. You know what? I think we all are. I actually think that we're all the coolest because I would even say it's courageous, right? I think that we are so courageous to question a system that told us that to question the system meant to die. Like it's so deep in our nervous systems. And a lot of us, the majority, like what is it, like 50 to 80% of us came with CPTSD or PTSD. So our nervous systems are already dysregulated. What up to my neurodivergent besties out there? I know for us ADHDers or autistics or whatever we are, a lot of us also are dysregulated because a lot of us also have a lot of that trauma and stuff like that. So I think that we're really courageous to question a system that basically told us that to question it was to die, that it's not safe to question what we were conditioned to believing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was looking at that one. I was like, that comment right there. AA prevents people from naturally evolving out of compulsive use. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like AA before 25, I feel like that should just be illegal because you are programming people whose brains aren't even fully developed to believe that they have this lifelong disease. I remember carrying the message in places that had, it was like young girls like 13 to 16 or something, going to AA meetings, doing the steps and being told they have this progressive fatal disease at that young. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Makes me
Yeah,
mad.
and then we got Jebs in the house. What up, Jebs? Love it. You two make so much sense. You know what? Like logic, that's why I love learning about the logical fallacies and stuff. And I literally, honestly, I am deconstructing so much from engaging with what's known on my channel as the culty commenters, right? So when people come through the AA ideology and communicate with me, I try to see which logical fallacies they are speaking through, because it's waking me up. And most of the people are using those logical fallacies in general. So I feel like we get to become so wise out here because we're really questioning just narratives in general, like the way things have always been, or the way things are culturally, politically, all of the things. And you know what? When all else fails, blame Frank Bookman. Frank Bookman, for those of you, I'm sure we all know, right? But if you don't know, he was the founder of the Oxford group Cult Religion, where Bill got sober for 2.5 years. While Bill and Ebby were recruiting for Frank Bookman's Oxford group Cult Religion, which now we pretend it was AA. They say AA was founded in 1935, right? But it wasn't. In 1935, when Bill and Bob actually were recruiting for Frank Bookman's cult, Frank Bookman was with Himmler saluting Hitler overseas. So there's lots of nefarious roots when we go all the way back. What's this comment? Okay, we have Mr. Pug says they pathologize questioning, then they tell you it's your disease.
Yep.
If this wasn't attached, I would drop it. I would drop the mic on that one.
It's totally, yeah. I have also said a question. Oh my God. Yeah. This one I have. Okay. So I'll read it. So like you said, for the people who are just listening, I've also started questioning my own history with alcohol. I exaggerated so many things to match other members' stories.
Yep, Kate.
The other thing too is I remember I've told the story like a long time ago though, when I used to talk about my husband and I, we got arrested for like a small string of bank robberies, right? And I remember in my head it was like a month-long thing, right? And like that's how I would tell the story. One day I was cleaning out the paperwork. It was 8 days. Like we robbed 4 banks, but it was only 8 days. That was, and in my mind it was this whole story, but it really was only a week long. But also going back to that, what you were saying is looking at your past without the disease model glasses is crazy. Like I'm still trying, like that's what I'm trying to do right now, is pick apart those pieces and trying to figure out like, well, what actually was that? Because it definitely wasn't that I lost control because my disease just took over. So what actually happened there? And yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, Ben. Okay, I see that Ben is Mr. Pug. What's up, Ben? It's fun to see a lot of the people that come to the Deprogram Zooms. So if you don't know about the Deprogram Zooms, I have a free group called the Deprogram Lounge. We do Zooms in there, and we have a Deprogram book club every month. So the link for that is already below to join the Deprogram Lounge. You're totally welcome and invited. You don't have to come to the Zoom, and you can even come to the Zoom with your camera off and on mute. But we have been vibing there since July is when I launched that, and we've been coming together, and it's been fun to get to know people who are on the same journey of realizing that they were Bill-boozled. They believed the Bill shit, and now they're setting their minds free, and we're doing it together. So it's cool. And the book that we're reading, it's somewhere. I don't know. We're reading Cults in Our Midst by Margaret Singer this month. Our book club's in 2 weeks if you want to join us. So you are welcome to come.
The turkey profile pic.
Let's turkey profile pic. All right. Yeah.
It cracked me up. Okay.
All right. And we have Blue Butterfly is saying the Zoom group is great. Okay.
Oh, man.
So what do you guys think? Okay, so this is the important question. We should take a vote on this because we were thinking about what to call this. And by the way, like for me, I don't know if any of you guys are ADHDers or relate to just a brain working this way in general, where like you have a lot of ideas and you have way more ideas than you have execution, and you want to do all the things and you make all the lists and all the plans, but only a few of those things, if even any, actually, manifest or become reality. And so we decided that we wanted to do this. Let's just go live and chat with everybody and connect and like see what comes up and like vibe together and talk about deconstructing and freedom from harmful cult religions like 12 step. But also we were like, well, what do we call it? So then we're like, Burning the Stigma and Sobriety Bestie Live. It kind of sounds long. Is it Tara and Kirsten Live? And then I don't know. I mean, it was kind of my idea, but I don't want to name you. It was like Burnie and Bestie. Are you Burnie or is that weird? So what do you guys think?
Like, I think Burnie's cute. I'm like, but nobody knows me as that. But I think Burnie is cute. So we just have to let people know it's my name.
Wait, let's go here. Okay, so, and something I'm realizing now is I tend to, and maybe this is, I don't know if this is just my neurodivergence, I do tend to birth nicknames for people. I don't fucking know why, and I don't know what it is. My whole life, I'm like, you're this. And then like everybody calls them that. I'm like, I don't know what is. So I guess, you know what? It's not a character defect. I just have a brain that I have. My brain is what it is. And your brain is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing to even fucking fix. It's just about, I don't know. For me, I feel like it's going all in on your strengths and trying to forgive your weaknesses, and not looking through a I'm defective lens that maybe society kind of put on us a little bit, like, because you're different than other people. If you are, I know there's a huge overlap with ADHD and alcohol addiction or addiction in general. And like to no longer pathologize ourselves, no fucking character defects, getting a little like swearing over here. And no moral inventories, no nightly inventory, no putting yourself under a microscope to find out how you are wrong, no looking for your part in everything, but to just finally fucking human without having to like overanalyze everything. I never did that before I got to AA.
Yeah. But when you're saying that, right? Because I feel like, because like I know I have ADHD. I was diagnosed with it in 7th grade. Like, it's no secret. I mean, all of my social media accounts are proof of it. For years, you can see me being like, I'm going to be consistent. And then I fall off for months. I'm going to do it now. Then I'm not, on off. But with the ADHD thing, right? Once I really realized that so many of these qualities, because even though I was diagnosed back in the 90s, it was never really broken down to me. It's like, okay, so a lot of these things are my ADHD. But then I felt like I kind of like almost justified all of my personality into that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like how before everything was because I'm an addict. Now everything's because I have ADHD. And it's, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I feel like for even that, even though I know like there is no questioning that I have it, but how do, like, sometimes I feel like now that's my new, I don't want to say excuse, but kind of, do you get what I'm kind of saying? Like, it's like, now that's my new, well, I can't, I fuck everything up that I touch, but that's because my ADHD. So I just have to realize that that's not who I am. I'm not the person that can keep a schedule and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm trying to make myself be someone who I'm not. But then it's like, am I just giving up on myself and say, like, giving myself another excuse to be like, well, I don't know. That's where my mind's been a lot lately.
Yeah. Where I've come to with that kind of like, what do we have here?
So it's because you're a Libra.
Burnie and Bestie. It's because you're Libra. Where I've come to with that is, okay, now I'm having a squirrel moment. What were we talking about?
now everything went from I'm an addict. Now everything's because I'm like ADHD. And
right.
Like, I
do not do that shit anymore. Period. Full stop. I don't do that. I do not give myself excuses for not doing what I want to do or being who I want to be. No fucking excuses. I don't do it. I just take responsibility for myself, do my best, and I forgive myself. For me, it's a self-compassion game. I don't beat myself up if I'm not doing what I think I should be or ought to be or other people do or whatever. I keep my eyes on my own fucking yoga mat. I don't look at other people and say I should be like them. And I'm like, what can I do to make myself like be better or do better or whatever I want? We've both said that like part of the hardest part of being a content creator or being a YouTuber is the editing. The editing takes fucking forever, and it becomes like a huge resistance factor to actually showing up more. So we thought, fuck it, let's go live. Here we are, editing free. Maybe some of this should be edited because I might need the editing. Speaking for myself.
Even though I don't do yoga, I'm writing down what you said right here about keep my eyes on my own yoga mat, because I sometimes feel like, especially, like, I'll even compare myself to you. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, oh, like, look at, like, she's pumping out all this content. Like, she's so together. Like, and I know you know, you do. It's not that you're so together. You take the time and do all these things to get yourself, you know, you make these, but I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I so get that. And I have so much compassion for that and empathy for that, because it's like my life story. And the way that I really think about change or progress or making, and let us know in the comments what you think. And I realize we have a few more comments to go through. It takes time to change the brain. First, there's the awakening of, I want change. I don't like what is going on and I want something different. And then there is, for me, the thinking about it is part of the change. It is. And then it's like, okay, the thinking about it and the visualizing it and getting clear on what I want. And then it's starting the habits, and then finding a way to have the habits not feel like discipline or need self-will to happen. How to like one of my, it's dumb, but it works. I have a calendar on my wall and I have stars like I'm a 5-year-old. And every time I go to yoga, even though I love yoga, I put a star on the calendar so I can walk by it. And anytime I see it, I can see, did I go to yoga the amount of times this week that I wanted to? And if I didn't, I kind of feel bad. So it makes me be like, I shouldn't skip it because I want to put the star up. So it's not like a discipline. It's more like a reward system. So I find ways to help myself stay in the habits that are going to give me the results that I want. The habit of yoga helps me be more like mentally and emotionally stable, sleep better, feel more connected to like my heart and my spirit, be more physically fit, so feel like better overall. I mean, I'm not getting any younger over here, so the body starts to ache and creak, and you know, so stretching out my fascia if I do yin or whatever. So there's so many benefits to doing it, but I have a hard time with initiation sometimes, like starting the thing or even stopping the thing. So I find ways to make it fun always. Like even like this is a way to make it fun, right?
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, so we have okay, so we have, there's a lot of comments. Okay, great. This is great. So Mr. Pug, I have a lot of ambivalence about change. Like one part of me wants, but another part resists it. Exactly. Totally. Evolving One says, you're a real one. You help me so much. You know what? I'm really glad to hear that. And Tara's helped me. Tara's helped me. Why I fucking hate that. I hate that I get to... You know what? If we did Tara and Kirsten show, y'all would freak the fuck out, because if there's two names in the world that are really fucked up to remember how to pronounce, it's Kirsten and Tara.
That's true.
Can I get an amen there? Okay, on a Sunday morning. No, I'm just kidding.
Amen with my Diet Pepsi.
Let's go with Burnie and Bestie. Let's burn it up.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
Okay, there was a comment way up here I want to put on. Tara, if you want to read this one. Because I've been talking a lot.
Hey guys, thank you for helping me get free. I plan to get more active. Substance use counselor here, former hardcore 12-stepper who just got back on MAT. Love you both and thank you. Oh, I love that. Substance use counselor, man. Former hardcore 12-stepper who, that's a lot, buddy. That is a lot. That's a lot. I am 100% in your corner. Then I'm fucking proud of you for getting back on MAT and doing what you need to do for you. Because at the end of the day, everything's community this, community that. But when you go to sleep at night, you just have yourself and you have to do what works for you. So I'm very happy for you and proud of you. You're a beautiful person. Burn the stigma. Don't beat yourself up. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think beating myself up is just part of my personality. I think it's just part of who I am, but I'm trying to get out of it because I know I have good ideas and shit. It's just about doing them because they're worthless if they stay in here or on a note on my phone or a Google document, or I've made spreadsheets. I've done, you know what I mean? Like I've done all the things, and it's like I don't stick with anything long enough to know if it works. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like I'll try to put myself in these little things like what you were talking about. I've made, now I'm trying, bullet journaling kind of, but like my own kind of bullet journaling because I couldn't do like real bullet journaling. And it's just like I don't stick with anything long enough to know if that's actually going to help me, and how do I stick with myself. Let's not mention age. Yeah, I know, I just turned 40 in October. I'm like, holy shit, life. That's another thing that gets me too, is that then you see year after year life keeps going, right? And I'm like, oh look, didn't accomplish any of my goals again this year. Like that's annoying. That's really annoying to have had like the same goals, especially with like my outreach and my content for like consecutive years and making no, that sucks. But oh well, it's life. That's life. I'm gonna switch to water.
I think you got a response on something you were just saying from Cassandra.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for this validation. Oh my God, thank you. Yeah, dude. I mean, absolutely. Again, like you just have to. And also, you said you were former hardcore 12 stepper, as Kirsten and I both were. We also have to remember that all of the things that were like, oh shit, like, is this the right? Is it like, none of that's real, right? Like all of those things that we're so afraid of, like, well, is this gonna happen? Like, and I know it's hard, it's easier said than done, but none of that is real. That is a fairy tale. That is recovery folklore, right? Like that's not real shit. So that always helps too. If you're ever starting to feel some kind of way, they just remember that it's not fact. That is not factual shit, and that always helped me. Welcome to the 40 Club, Tara. I'm 46 now. I know, dude. Like, where did the time go? Like, I swear I'm still 25. I swear. But I'm not. No.
I love it. Yeah, I think for me, part of my deconstruction that's happened more recently, because I left AA, 5.5 years ago and started dissenting online like 6 months ago. So there was 5 months of just being quiet about it. But what I've in this second wave, which has been so profound for me of deconstructing AA, don't quit before the fucking miracle happens, meaning the bullshit's out of your head.
Yes.
But it is the questioning myself, doubting myself, pathologizing myself, not taking action, not executing, all of those things that we've been talking about on here. I feel like a lot of that is also from Alcoholics Anonymous. Like because a lot of it is the should I be doing this? Should I be doing this? Is this right? It's the being taught over and over and over again to basically not trust my own thinking, to outsource my decision making to my higher power or a doorknob. Although Kate tells me that there's no doorknobs in Italy. I got a little comment this morning about that, and I want to know, what do the Italians pray to? What do the Italians turn their will and their life over to if there's no fucking doorknobs? Because here in America, chair, we're allowed to turn our will and our life over to a doorknob, and that's called recovery. You're recovering, and that's called sanity, and that's called freedom. When a doorknob rules your life, okay? Yeah. Period. The end. Bullshit. Billboozle.
Yeah, seriously. It's insane. But I was all about it. I was like, yep, that makes sense. Sign me up, baby.
Kate's saying door handles. Okay, so you know what? I don't want to give any suggestions here except for one. My one suggestion, if you guys will bear with me for a minute, trigger warning. My suggestion is to not turn your will and your life over to a door handle.
I second that suggestion.
But trust yourself. If it feels right, trust yourself.
Yeah, I mean, who are we to say, right? If it feels right, go for it, baby. Go for it. And that's what sucks, is that we learn to to not trust our intuition, right? Like we literally learn that anything that feels that it's one way is probably wrong. And then I'm like, I wonder why I'm so fucked up. You know what I mean?
That's literally why I will not identify with anything that has to do with dysfunction again.
Yeah.
I refuse. Call it wisdom, call it cult PTSD. I will not identify with anything that is giving dysfunction. I'm not saying ADHD or autism is dysfunction, to be clear. I'm saying I won't identify as those labels, because if I get myself into a label that has limits by definition, because labels are not all expansive, unless we're saying soul or something that is literally expanding, then I'm going to define myself by the limits of that situation, that label, that alcoholism. Even like with ADHD, it's like, no, maybe I'm not naturally as organized as somebody else, right? Who hasn't had that assessment. It doesn't mean that I can't be organized. Maybe it means I need to learn how to maybe I need to spend the entire week only learning how to organize myself, or this entire month only learning how to organize my closet, and next month my project is learning how to organize something else. Maybe I need to devote some more of my time to it to create systems, and once I create the systems or the habits, then I don't have to run by a story that limits me. That's really like my awakening after AA. It's like, I do not want to identify with anything that is going to limit me. It doesn't mean that some of my brain isn't real, or it doesn't mean that I don't have limits, but I'm not going to let my mind fuck me because I'm identifying with something that could be interpreted as a dysfunction or a lack or a limit, because I know that the brain is not like bones. Look, I'm 5'8". It is what it is. I'm probably going to shrink over time, right? Lose a half an inch, lose an inch, whatever. Maybe even in the next decade. I'm just kidding. We're not talking about age here. I heard you. I heard the comment. But brains can change, period. So nothing about my brain is permanent. Nothing. Like, it can change. Neuroplasticity, what fires together wires together. Use it or lose it. These are the basic principles of neuroplasticity. And when I really get that, I know that I could, y'all, we all know that programming is real. We all know, if anybody, this not a glum lot here, excuse the triggers, we know that brainwashing is a thing. We can unbrainwash ourselves, which is hopefully some of what's happening right here for all of us, me included. And we can also brainwash ourselves, or we can create new learning in our brains. We can learn to be, like for me, learning to be organized is something I actively need to work at, because naturally my brain, it doesn't do that naturally. I have very good strengths that come from having a divergent-ish brain, right? And I also have some other things that are, I need to put a little more effort in for them to work. Just like certain kind of flowers are going to bloom more easily, or weeds or whatever. So you can still tend to the garden of your mind by putting in what you want to be in there through practices, through exercises. Yeah, so I don't think about the brain in any sort of static way anymore. Like I'm forever fatal progressive disease. I don't do that. And I might be delusional, and that's okay, because it's fucking working for me.
I was gonna say, if it works, I mean, I'm eating it up. I'm gonna try some of that. Yeah, they call it a program for real. Yeah.
For fuck's sake, is that what that is? FFS.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I'm like, for real. Like, they call it a program for real.
For real.
Yeah, for fuck's sake. I think it is for fuck's sake. That makes more sense than what I said. The letters aren't even there, what I said.
Okay, Tony says AA amplified my anxiety and depression and made me feel it was all my doing for not getting sober in AA and not applying myself to the program.
Totally feel that. 100%. That was a story in my 20s for sure. If I could just surrender more, if I could just do more service work, if I could just, you know what I mean? Like, everything was like, there was always something more. Clearly I wasn't doing enough, because if I did enough, it would have worked. 100%. That was totally me.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Now we have Mags1 says, huge thanks to both of you and all the dissenters and deprogrammers for enabling me to overcome my fear of leaving and to discover courage, strength, and empowerment. Yeah, that hits me deep.
Congrats to you and starting your whole new life.
It's so hard to have the thought in our head, a brainwashed brain, to have the thought in our head that maybe this is wrong, maybe I can leave, Like maybe it's okay, maybe it's safe, maybe it's all a lie, especially when it's not mirrored to us on the outside, because still we are underground. Y'all know I like underground in a way because I went to the rave in the 90s. Any of the ravers out there, any other old school ravers out there? That was what it was like. What it was like was I loved house music. But we're still a bit I digress. We're still a bit underground out here because it's not a mainstream narrative yet, that the idea that recovery should be temporary and that you can leave and that
Mm,
you can trust yourself when it's time to leave, or you can work with a professional who can help you realize if it's time to leave, or you can feel into, did I heal what I was drinking over, like my trauma? Did I learn how to regulate my emotions? Was I drinking because I felt uncomfortable in my skin? I was. What did I not know how to deal with discomfort? That was me. So once we learn how to regulate, once we process some of our old trauma, once we change some of the stories or narratives we've been running by, like, yeah.
yeah, and it's funny because like so many AA alternatives still go with the lifelong recovery thing. You know, like there's plenty of other programs out there. Now, I have no experience in them, so I can't say that they brainwash people. I haven't heard anything of the sort, but it is interesting to think of, you know, when we talk about all pathways and such, and people bring up different things. I even have a whole list of 12-step alternatives, but you know, the more I think about it, it's like, you know, are those programs still pushing the disease model for this lifelong disease, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, little shout out. We're gonna do a like halftime advertisement here for Tara's YouTube channel. I did link it below. There's also a video in there you might want to check out. It's from Stanton Peele, who is like a Godfather legend in the programming 12-step bullshittery. He has a book called The Diseasing of America. I haven't read it yet. I did read his book called 12-step Coercion or something like that from the 90s. It was really good. But I'm not recommending a book necessarily right now. I'm recommending you go to the link below if you're vibing that, if you want to check out the video that she did on Burn the Stigma YouTube with Stanton Peele. It was so great. I loved it. Yeah, let's see. Then we have Cassana. I hope I'm saying that right. The ever moving goalpost almost killed me. That's what you were talking about, right? No matter what you did, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it was never enough. It was like, well, you know, maybe it's because you didn't, you know, do your 10, 11, and 12 on a nightly basis. Maybe it was this, or yeah, it was always something. And then you're never, it's like you get to a point where like you start to feel good about yourself, and then like someone comes and like slaps you and you're like, no, you need to humble yourself, like you're not, you know. It's like, oh, sorry for feeling confident for 5 seconds of my life.
Totally. I remember people shit on me when I got a job that I was excited about. People shit on me when I got a car, like when I was like 1 year sober, like, and just made fun of me for doing things that I was actually felt good at, like taking steps to improve my life. And I just remember thinking, what the fuck? Like, why are you like making fun of me? Like, okay, we have Kings Mason says, as if the program was an actual place with some way to get inside of it. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We're kind of behind on comments.
That's
Uh,
cool that people actually came. Thanks for being here, guys.
okay, we have Blue Butterfly says, I believe that the solution to staying away from drinking alcohol is practical. Don't buy it, don't go to bars. Yeah, don't drink. Yeah. Yeah, period. And then Jeb says, I shared about laps, and I'm a UK guy who came up and said, I heard your share and missed something out on your step 4. He was on holiday from the States, so we had never met. Wait, I'm so confused. First of all, the first thing I think when I read this is I don't like the words anymore. And let me know what you guys think. I don't like the word relapse. I think it's disgusting. I don't I don't like so much of the language, and I get it, and it's a way to communicate. But there is so much shame that's put around relapsing, and like I've never like The amount of shame that comes with not doing AA perfectly, like the purity culture, really bothers me. So that's just like the word that popped out for me there. Oh my God, there's so many comments. Okay. Do you want to say anything here, or should I pick another comment?
No, yeah,
Keep going.
yeah.
Let's see. Mr. Pug. I naively believe that the bullshittery they were coming out with in the meetings actually referred to some authentic state of spiritual enlightenment. And if only I can get there with the program, I too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Totally
I'd
agree.
always look at people and be like, that whole like pick someone who has what you want and, as your sponsor type thing. And I would always look at these people and I still wonder now, like and maybe they were really all about it and everything they were saying is totally honest and stuff. But and I don't know, but yeah, I wanted to be them big time. Hi there, my sobriety feels a little more risky and thinner since I stopped going to AA, but weirdly, I feel happier. That's understandable. I mean, do you, I think, I don't know if I know for me, I went to the program, but I didn't actually, like, I was heroin addict, right? And I hate to even use that word. I had heroin use disorder, but that seems so long. That's the thing that sucks about the proper language is that it seems like it's so much longer. Um, but is there anything that like particular that feels more risky and thinner since you stopped going? Like, is there anything we can kind of help you with? But I will tell you that it may just feel like, kind of just weird territory that you're in, but I promise you, you have everything inside of you that you need to combat that. Sometimes, we need to look to other resources and such. And if you need help with that, we'd be more than happy to help you. But it's
There's a
funny how
lot
you
of
said you feel happier.
there's a lot of support out there too that's
Yeah,
non-harmful. I just
yeah,
feel like 12 step is harmful, period. That's just
yeah,
my opinion. And we all got to figure that out for ourselves, right? I wasn't able to take what I want and leave the rest. But if you feel risky and thinner with your sobriety, my gut instinct is like maybe there's more a support system for you to build or a support system waiting for you. I don't know if that's a non-harmful recovery path. I don't know if that's an individual like a therapist or whether that's making friends who are also sober on a similar path that you could not do a daily gratitude text with, but something like a check-in or something. Although I don't necessarily think gratitude's not a bad thing. I think we just got a little traumatized with it from AA, a lot of
yeah,
us.
yeah.
It's
And sometimes I think it's nothing. Sometimes has nothing recovery related, right? Like the thing that I don't want to use the word missing, but kind of like the thing that you're needing actually has nothing to do with recovery. It's just something else on your healing journey. Yes, Tara, this is probably why we beat ourselves up a lot because AA blames us for everything. They destroy people's self-esteem and happiness. And you know what's crazy is that I don't know where my voice keeps going. I'm sorry. My biggest, like, looking back without the AA, 12-step glasses and trying to figure out like where my life went wrong type thing. Um I really feel like self-esteem was my biggest downfall, like not having the self-esteem because I went to a school it was a pretty good school system. All my friends were good at school, good at sports, good at something, and I was not good at anything. And I had the type of brain like if I'm not good at it right away, then I give up and I'm like, nope, it's not for me, can't do it. Like I'm not about practicing. I either want to be good or or not. And when I came to drinking and smoking, like it was something I could do that some of my friends, like they couldn't hang, and like that became my whole personality. But I truly feel like the root of everything came back to my self-esteem. Relapse is a choice of free will. Returning to use is, yeah, I mean, you choose it, but sometimes it doesn't feel like a choice, right? But sometimes it's the best decision that you feel you can make at the time. It's not necessarily we always look at it as a bad thing, right? But if the alternative is I'm going to, excuse like trigger warning, but I'm going to take my life, or I'm going to get a little high to take that edge off of, Well, at that point, getting high was the safer choice. It's just every single situation is different. And I think when we like broadly put this like, relapse, return to use, bad, we're not looking at the whole picture, and we're not looking
Mm,
at everything for what it is. We got to stop with all of the everything is this, everything is that. Even
yeah.
like the definition of, like everyone says, what the heck is it that they say? Like, now I can't remember. I'll think of it later. But I don't
I
like.
I agree with that 100%, and I feel like when I was a teenager and I found alcohol, it saved me 100%. I feel like that was true for me. I was, like, struggling so hard before I first drank when I was 16, and so I feel like it really did save me, and it really did help me get through a very, very hard time, and that hard time was being neurodivergent and not knowing it, being autistic and not knowing it, but also having, like, a crap load of childhood sexual abuse that was unresolved and living in a very dysregulated nervous system and yeah, just feeling unsafe and terrorized the entire time and feeling like life was too much of a struggle. So finding alcohol regulated me, it calmed me, it helped me connect with people, and that connection with people helped me like awaken other parts of myself, like a social life and like the rave that was fun. And like yeah, so I really feel like alcohol was at that time it was a medication for me and it did work for me and it did get me through a hard time. I love what you're saying about not having it be that black and white thinking, all or nothing, this or that, and that super culty kind of way of doing things. So we have evolving one says what word would you use instead of relapse? I don't like the other words either. And then we have Kate saying Sexton uses return to use instead of relapse. I really like
Yeah,
that.
return to use is like the standard of what most professionals, that's like the language that people like. Harm reduction, that's the, I don't want to say like the new word for it, but return to use is the standard now. I feel like for like universally, that's where everyone's going towards, that is trying to change the stigmatizing language. It is return to use is the big one.
The way that I think about it is just like fucking anything. I'm like, can I keep it simple? So sorry. The bullshittery is popping in my head sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a
But
lot
but
of
like I
a lot
said,
of indoctrination.
all of the proper words, it's like before it was like addict, now it's like, person with substance use disorder. And then before it was relapse, now it's return to use. Like everything
I
is
don't
so
like that.
much
I don't
longer.
honestly, I don't like that either. It's all giving like a bad vibe to me. I'm drinking again. I'm drinking.
Yeah,
Keep it fucking simple. I'm drinking. I drank.
yeah,
Why does it have to be like this big dramatic fuckery?
I know.
I'm drinking. I drank. I don't know. That's just
Ooh.
kind of what comes to me right now. Like it's well, because that's like, okay, so I'm having a coffee right now. Obviously, I'm caffeinated. I'm sure you guys can tell. So, but I don't think about it as like I'm returning to use. No, I had if I drank a soda, I haven't had a soda in like, I don't know, 15, 16, 13. I don't remember when the last time was. If I had a soda, I wouldn't call it returning to use. I wouldn't say that. I would say I had a soda. I had a fucking soda. Like, can we be normal and not
I know,
maybe I'm
I
missing the
know.
point here, but like I drank, I drank a soda. Like, why does it have to be a thing? Um, we have somebody here who is asking you to speak about harm reduction. Is there anything more specific with that blue
Yeah, I was
butterfly?
gonna say
Would you
that's,
mind asking something a little more specific that we can dive into?
yeah.
Let's see. We have Last Green Man. What's up? Me too, Kirsten. The term rubbed me the wrong way instantly because it still puts in the abnormal boat. Yes. Like I drank last night. I returned to use last night. Can you imagine saying that about like okay, let's say you broke your leg and you were in a cast and you were stumbling around and you had crutches and then you started walking again. Like and then you stubbed your toe and you had to use the crutches again. I returned to crutches. I hurt my fucking foot. Like
Yeah,
so much of it just sounds like it just sounds pathologized. I don't know. I'm
yeah,
probably being weird, but
that yeah, I was gonna say it does take it still back to like the return. I definitely like return to use better than relapse, just because there's not the, when I say that word, people are like, huh, like what does that even mean? Versus when you say relapse, there's like the automatic image and stigma that comes with it. Just like when you
yeah.
say the word addict, there's that automatic image that comes with it.
Yeah.
But To be honest with you, when I heard that was the language that people are going towards, I just kind of didn't really think about it. I just like, okay, like return to use, that sounds better than relapse. But now that we're talking about it, I can understand and I can see where it's still like, I mean, it's basically saying the same thing as relapse.
Yeah, I would. Okay, so I'm just one person, obviously, but my thoughts are just say you had a drink, like keep it
Yeah,
just basic, the same way you would talk about anything else in your life that
anything.
you didn't have a big thing about or a cult around or whatever. But I'm curious what everybody else thinks. So do you use the word relapsing? Does that feel good to you? Do you like return to use? Or how would you feel is a good way to express that? Because for me on the critical thinking journey, that really means like seeing what is in other people's minds and vibing around everyone's perspective and seeing what makes sense. So it's definitely not what any one of us thinks. It's finding what works for us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a question earlier about can you talk about harm reduction, and now Blue Butterfly is being clarifying and saying how it relates to alcohol use.
Sure. So, of course, you picked the topic I'm not well versed in. Okay, but it's actually a great topic because in the harm reduction world, alcohol gets left out all the time. Alcohol always gets left out of the harm reduction conversation. Like anytime you hear about harm reduction, the kind of like the surface level stuff is always like syringes and naloxone, and then get into the deeper stuff. But I will say for anyone who is looking into more about harm reduction in alcohol, HAMS is excellent. So I'm just going to read this really quick. It says HAMS is a peer-led and free of charge support and informational group for anyone who wants to change their drinking habits for the better. The acronym HAMS stands for harm reduction, abstinence, and moderation support. So there's definitely multiple things that they get into that I personally, this is on my list of things to be well more versed in, but I would recommend looking over there because they deal with harm reduction and alcohol, and harm reduction and alcohol absolutely go hand in hand. But you're absolutely right, not that you said this, but just by bringing it up, it is one of those things that alcohol and harm reduction need to be talked about a lot more.
Yeah. What I wish was common knowledge. Well, okay. So, what I know now, if I knew what I know now back in 2009 when I got sober, I would do harm reduction instead of rehab and 12-step cult religion. Because, and what that would specifically look like, because it did exist then, as far as I know, it was kind of came to be around 1994, and that's the Sinclair method. The Sinclair method, of
Yes.
course, I would use naltrexone, and I would still drink, and I would take the naltrexone an hour before I was drinking, and I would see how that worked for me. Now, I think it doesn't work for everybody, but I've read studies, I've read the book. There's a great book called The Cure for Alcoholism. So I would have preferred harm reduction. So even though I have not had a drink since 2009, I'm more on team harm reduction and team Sinclair method, giving that a go. Sinclair method, just it because there's the learning in our brain, right? And brain learning, we learn the addiction through repeatedly doing it, and we could unlearn it with naltrexone. It unpairs the reward as far, I'm very loosely doing the science here, okay?
Right.
We unlearn it, so that it is the pill that Bill talked about, where he's like, if there was ever a science one day invented a pill that could undo the alcoholism, whatever, I don't believe in the word alcoholism, but it's an unlearning of our brain. So we gradually just want less alcohol. So that is the route that I would go. I would have saved a lot of money on rehab. I would have saved a lot of disabling bullshittery from going to 12-step cult religion for a decade. And I wouldn't have to deprogram this. There were still probably other, false stories I was living by that I would need to deprogram or heal my trauma or whatever. But for me, when I think about harm reduction and specifically alcohol, I think about naltrexone. If I were ever going to drink again, which I can't see that happening, but if I were to, if one day I desired to drink and was going to go on that route, then I would do it with naltrexone. I would get naltrexone and I would pair it with it, and I would try the Sinclair method and see how that goes. I know it might not be 100% that it would work for me. It would, but that's just how I feel about it personally. That's why I think doing like the research for ourselves to make these decisions for ourselves, either on our own, which is really easy, or with a professional who is not biased, meaning they're not in the cult, they're not an AA, is a great way to make a plan for ourselves.
Agree. You want to read it? You want me to?
Go ahead and take. You might talk for a while. I just want to shut up and let you go.
Do you still think there's a place for dropping into meetings now and again and staying neutral? So this is different for everyone. For me, absolutely not. Once I it's one of those things, like when I had a head full of the dogma and the doctrine and the red, all of it, right? All of it was in my brain. There was no seeing outside of that. It's kind of like once you know Santa's not real, there's no going back to believing that Santa is real. So maybe if you were someone who just went in the program and like went to meetings once in a while and didn't like work the steps and weren't all about the program and didn't think that the first 164 pages were your guide to living. Oh, sorry, my dog's barking. But if I don't think, and this is just me, I don't think when you're that hardcore you can go, but everyone's different, right? But for me personally, it really is like the whole Santa thing. I'm sorry, Santa isn't real. But it's one of those things. It's that now that I'm pretty sure Santa's not real, I can't go back.
Yeah.
I can't.
So I want to chime in here too. Do you still think there's a place for dropping into meetings now and again and staying neutral? I think 100% there is, if that's what you feel guided to. I don't know what anybody should do. For me, there's no,
Right.
it's not what's happening. I won't go back. But I do think that, like if I think about in the beginning of my sobriety, it's hard to say, but I ultimately, what I think, and I'm just one person on the internet. I'm not anyone's doctor, medical professional, anything like that at all. But if there is truly a way where one feels like they are getting enough benefit that they're okay with getting a little bit of the programming into, or I've heard people like Monica Richardson saying, go after like the hardcore programming, meaning show up like 5-10 minutes late. So you miss the preamble, the indoctrination, and leave a little bit early so you miss the ending indoctrination, so you don't hear that repetition every day. The repetition is part of the brainwashing. You'll hear it in the shares as well. But if you miss out the how it works, and then you at the end in the Lord's Prayer or whatever else, or however the meetings end, wherever anybody is. And so if you feel that you want to go and dabble in a certain way, then do it.
Yeah.
The same way that I felt that alcohol was saving me, even though alcohol is technically like a neurotoxin or a poison in some ways, and especially at the levels that I was drinking it at then, but it was helping me. And so sometimes it's not so cut and dry.
Yes.
So I know for me, I wouldn't go to AA ever again, but I don't know what anybody else should do. And I don't think anybody else should listen to me. I think I made the decision for me, and I think we should all make the decision for ourselves. And then if that changes and evolves, it changes and evolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's different. And I think that's the biggest thing. Honestly, one of the hardest things to kind of deprogram from is that just because I have lived experience shooting dope, going to meetings, this, that, or the other thing, does not mean that you should take my advice. As much as I would be willing to, give advice in areas that I felt like I could give advice, it doesn't, because just because we have very similar experiences does not mean the route that I went that I finally found success on is the one that you're going to find success on. Because at the end of the day, even though we have so many similarities, we also have so many differences, and finding what works for you based off of your journey, I think is the most freeing and healing thing that one can do especially after being in an environment where we were handed that you're an addict, and we were handed this is what you have to do, right? To finally go your way and not listen to anyone else and finding your own path. That I feel like is when you find your real way,
Yeah. This question from Blue Butterfly, what you are saying is that there's nothing wrong with drinking alcohol or using non-prescription drugs. No, I'm not saying that. It is nuanced. It is not all yes or all no or all one or this or that. I don't see it that way. I see it as a gradation and shading, and it's individual. I see it very much as an individual. If I, for example, felt like I was going to drink again, The same way that I feel like certain things are meant for me, like my intuition, then I would do it. Like, for example, the way, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but if it did, I would trust it because that's how I live my life. That's kind of my vibe. So for example, 3 years ago when I felt like from the depths of my soul or my spirit that I was to go take ayahuasca. At that point, I'd already deconstructed AA, saying that plant medicine is how I see it now, that all of that stuff is drugs and therefore a relapse and therefore bad and is going to activate a craving and is I'm going to have to have the sobriety shame count, reset my sobriety date or whatever. But something from the depths of me felt like going down to the jungle in Peru and taking ayahuasca with a very specific shaman down there was the next step on my evolution, on my healing journey. And that was what I needed at that time. Let's keep in mind, I do not like psychedelics. I like the transformation. I like the embodied learning that I have gained the few times I've taken heroes doses and went past the moon. If y'all know what I mean, if you know, you know. But I do not enjoy it. I like reality and control and like I like stability and I feel very, very unstable when everything is just like, when you're disembodied and existing as consciousness floating through space. But I knew from the depth of my being that was the next step in my journey. And so I trust that. And I went and I did it. And I got a very deep healing out of that. And so I'm not even pro psychedelics or anti psychedelics. I'm pro trusting the wisdom inside me. So that's how I would decide about if I was going to drink alcohol again or use when it comes to non-prescription drugs. I don't know. I also don't even feel very good about all prescription drugs. If you guys I have a playlist on my channel about benzos, and it was very, very hard to get off benzos. And that playlist is very popular because a lot of us get super screwed. Like I was taking Klonopin daily as prescribed for 2.5 years before I got sober. They yanked me off them in rehab. And then I had post-acute withdrawal syndrome. I didn't know about detox from benzos because nobody was talking about that in 2009 that I could find. Definitely not on the internet. We were still a lot of stigma around that. So I really believe this in this day and age in 2025, especially with all the information that exists, all the YouTubers that are very honest about these things, all the advancements that we've had in science and ChatGPT, AI. I believe in researching, not necessarily in playing doctor, but doing our due diligence and making wise decisions for ourselves. I can see how in hindsight, if I had done that, I would have avoided some like potholes in my journey where I fell into like falling into benzos, although I don't think that was preventable in 2006 when I got on them. The information wasn't available really. I also didn't look though, to be honest. And now I would. So like when I got assessed as ADHD last August, 2 different people were really pushing to get me on Adderall. And my feeling is I would rather not be on any medication, period, because it was traumatic, I guess would be the word. It was brutal. Maybe that's a better word. It was brutal to come off of benzos. It was incredibly brutal. It felt like 2.5 years of an anxiety attack, basically. And I was only on them for 2.5 years. So it was kind of like everything that it gave me, it was all a rebound. I had to pay with interest on the back end. So it was a bad loan. You know what I mean? When I could have just learned mindfulness and meditation in hindsight. So when there was this crazy push, it felt so much pressure that I literally was crying with this medical provider because of the pressure to get on Adderall from them every time we got on the phone. And I was like, look, that's number 5 on my list. This is just how I see it. That's like number 5 on my list because I want to try other things before I go that route. Because honestly, I don't want to have to come off anything again because coming off things has been really brutal for me. I don't want to have to come off something. So I'd rather try something that I don't have to come off of. That's just my vibe now. It doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean Adderall isn't helping lots of other people. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
But I got to make a decision for me, and I'm going to use my own wisdom and hopefully wisdom from other people too as I make these decisions for myself. So I'm not even okay with all prescription drugs, quite frankly, for myself personally, because I don't want to pay on the flip end with, if there is potentially a flip end with a lot of interest, and that's how I see it. It's just being a little more cautious.
Yeah, I think it just goes to like I think what Blue Butterfly was saying, technically though there is like if a person has the information that they have and they decide that they want to, or even if they don't have the information, if someone decides that they want to use any sort of anything, whether it's prescription, non-prescription, that there's nothing wrong with them. You know what I mean? Like if that's what someone chooses
Yeah.
to do, it's like we like obviously, especially with the illicit supply of today, there's so many other things that people have to worry about, that it's not just like, oh well, like whatever, just do what you want. But we want to give people all of the information how to use safely, how, because at the end of the day it's about personal autonomy. And if someone decides that that is the route that they want to go,
Hmm.
we can give them all the information that they need. But if it's just, it's the no, it's like the, I think yesterday was like, I don't know if it's international or national, but like drug users rights, right? And it's that is a topic that we never really think about. And it was always like, oh, we just want to get everyone off drugs, we just want to get everyone sober, we just want, but there are plenty of people, and we don't think about this either, who like their life is actually better in some ways, like technically, even though I feel, and this is that whole drug hierarchy thing that shouldn't exist, but technically I'm a drug user, right? Like I use cannabis, but I feel because of the stigma that I don't qualify as a drug user because it's cannabis and it's not this type of drug. And there's like all this, but it's just, there's so much shame when it comes to, but technically, caffeine's a drug, and technically nicotine's a drug. And I think it's just being aware of the different stigmas, and it's just such a loaded conversation, to be honest. Yeah, like there should be no shame or guilt for doing those things. Like if you partake in those things, it's not as shameful as society makes it. That is your, whether you're using it to cope, whatever, that is your, what you're doing at that time. And again, it's just, it's loaded and complicated.
Yeah. Okay. I see a question here. Is this it? Evolving One asks, did rehab help you, Kirsten? Would you go now with the knowledge you have now? I might go now, but I would do things first, the same way that I was just talking about Adderall. It wouldn't be off my list. It would just be lower on my list. It wouldn't be the first thing that I would try like I did, right? I would try naltrexone first. It's a lot cheaper. It's like $1 a pill or something, and if it worked for me, then I wouldn't need to. I would gradually change my brain through the medication. Now I might have an adverse reaction. There might be a flip side that I'd have to pay on the back, and I would do research. Is it hard to come off of this thing? I would dig in deeper before I pursued that. But I feel like, and unfortunately, you know what? Like when I was going to rehab, didn't have the mental capacity to do the research. Honestly, I was a bit not, I was so panicked and I was not in a place to do research. Although I feel like it's so much easier now. There's so much more information out there, and it's so
Yeah.
normal now to dig in for ourselves and to rabbit hole and stuff like that. So I might go to rehab if I was back in that place, if this was 2009 again, but it would be much further down on my list. It wouldn't be the first thing at all that I would try. And I do feel like there was a big benefit from meeting other people who were in a similar situation to me, like meeting friends who also were being honest and talking about struggles that I had never talked about before. So that camaraderie was helpful. Also, it was nice to be in a different environment for a month, to be out of my regular routine. So I'm no longer passing by where I normally drink or with my roommate that I normally drink with. I'm in another environment. So there are ways, like at the time I was really debating between going to a yoga retreat in Costa Rica for a month or going to rehab. Like that was really what I was thinking about. I'm like, if I just go and do like, because it was like a non-drinking, it was a wellness kind of a thing. And I don't know that that would have gotten me sober, but to put yourself in a new environment, I think that there's benefits to that. So there's just things that I would try first.
I'm never going back. I've met quite a few ex-opiate dependent people who can drink alcohol with any problems or smoke weed, but NA says they aren't quote unquote clean. Another word I fucking hate. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, this is one that being in the cannabis community and being in the recovery community, because technically, like clean, like let's just get rid of that word, right? Like we don't care about that word. But technically, I'm not sober, right? Like technically cannabis is a substance. And sometimes I think our people fight so hard to be like, well, I'm still sober. It's like, well, who cares about sober? Like, fuck sober. Like, no, we're not sober. Like, I'm high, I'm stoned. Like, that's not sober. I mean, we can get technical. Well, sober is really for alcohol, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, like, I am under the influence and I'm high and I'm stoned, and like that's okay. Like, it is okay to feel like it's okay for me to feel that feeling again, even though I used to have a heroin problem. Like, and I think sometimes we fight so hard to be seen as like this thing, and then it's just feeding into the disease model, right? It's like, why do we care if people think we're sober or not? Our life has nothing to do with my life has nothing to do with if I smoke weed or not. Like, everything else that I've accomplished has nothing to do with that. And sometimes I feel like the culture and like the Cali sober culture, sometimes, this is just my personal opinion, kind of like simps for the abstinence culture, right? Because they want to be seen as that, but we're not that, and that's okay. Like, stop trying to be like them. Like, we're not them, and it's okay. We don't want to be like them. Like, it's okay to say that we're stoned or that we're high if that's what we're doing. And we need more, I don't want to say like pride around being stoned, but more like, if that's what we're going to do and we're okay with that, like, let's be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? But I know, like, trust
Yeah.
me, it took me years to get here. I used to do the same thing, so I get
Yeah.
it.
I had a great talk with Emma from Group Thinking Podcast on Sobriety Bestie podcast or on my YouTube channel. And if you are drinking and feeling guilty about it because you have friends in AA, which came up on our deprogram Zoom call yesterday morning, um, then by the way, if you just joined recently and you want to join the deprogram Zooms that we have, it's in the deprogram lounge. It is my free group. You are totally invited. And then it would be you talking with other people who are deprogramming as well. But it came up, this feeling of, I'm drinking occasionally. My sponsor doesn't know. I have a sponsor who doesn't know they're not really my sponsor, and I feel guilty about it. I'm going to Smart Meetings too, or Sinclair Method, or like whatever. And this feeling of being guilt, like this feeling of guilt and stuff. And um, yeah, I think that for me, I was very impressed with Emma from Group Thinking Podcast, that she started drinking again. And she seems very unapologetic about it. Like, she owns it, like the way that I own my height, like, ain't no big thing. It's just what I'm doing. It's just how I am. Like, go fuck yourself if you have a problem with
Right.
me. And she even has a family member who's been in AA for decades, and she will drink around that family member. And I just feel I love that she's just embracing who she wants to be and rocking with it. Now, that's not for everybody, but I
Right.
feel like she, especially the episode that we did together, but if you wanted to check out her podcast in general, it's Group Thinking Podcast, and her name is Emma. And I love that for the people that want to work through that guilt and deprogram from that guilt. I think she's a great resource for that. I love that of the dissenters, of the deprogrammers out loud on the internet, that we all have slightly different stories, because
Mhm.
we can kind of speak to different experiences of leaving 12-step ideology and how we're thinking about it now. And we see it differently. We do it
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't smoked pot since the 90s. That shit freaks me the fuck out. Are you kidding me? It's like, just like I don't want to have a panic attack, I don't want to smoke pot. Like, the fuck, man. I would be the one who like would do it, and then I'd be sitting there on the bed hyperventilating, like thinking I'm gonna die for 3 hours. I'm like, this is fucked up. No, I don't want to like go into a panic. Thank you, I'm good. No. And then eating it, forget about it. Everything comes alive. Like I'm on a hero's dose of psilocybin. I'm like, the painting is alive and coming after me. No joke. It was
I
scary as
wish.
shit. I'm like, I mean it when I said I was scared to go to Peru and do ayahuasca. I don't like that shit. But
I do. But honestly, like, because like anything with tolerance, like cannabis, like the feeling obviously that I got when I first started smoking again versus what I feel now is two totally different things. Bollocks. I don't know how to say that word.
bullocks, bullocks,
Bollocks.
bullocks.
Ox. Bullocks. We can change our relationship with any drug and we get out of the programming that keeps us dependent. I agree with that. I think a lot of the negative relationships that I had with, well, some of it was obviously different, but I think a lot of what kept me stuck when I wanted to be done, there's a difference. When I really truly wanted to be done and was still stuck was because of the programming. I always saw people with the same behaviors before they entered the rooms, but each mistake is always followed by, oh, the program sorted out. That went over my head, I think.
The way I'm interpreting this is that the program is the solution for everything. At least that's what I was told, that the program will sort it out, is that that I was told my only problem is alcoholism, and the only solution I need for anything in my life is the 12 steps. No other 12-step program, literally just AA's 12 steps. I was told that over and over and over again. So I never went for outside help because I was told it was only alcoholism. It wasn't like I was explicitly told don't get outside help. I was told I don't need it. It's all this. That was the conditioning I got.
Yeah, same.
Hey,
and
I want to do a little check. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say it's for me, I know sometimes people are confused and think like, if you did heroin, why'd you go to AA? But I did DAA and HA and CA, which still uses the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, but when we read it aloud, we switch the words because that was the true text, the original text. The NA we thought was bullshit, like AA was the real shit. So that's why we did that. I know.
Totally. I want to do a vibe check with everybody. What have you been thinking about this live? Should we move forward and do Burnie and Bestie live as a regular thing? Has this been enjoyable or sparked any insights in you? Has it been something that's worth repeating? What are your thoughts on this? We are super open. I actually am having fun with it. I love reading all the comments. The comments honestly are my favorite part about me making videos, is like hearing from you guys and what is everybody else thinking, because coming out of mind control, it's nice to kind of see where everyone's mind's at. So what are you thinking? Would you like to see this as a regular thing? Is this working for you? Is this a vibe? What do you think?
Like, we hate it. Oh my gosh, it's already 1:22. No. Yeah.
Okay, we have Lavender Foxes says, I never met someone in recovery who was completely 100% sober from all mind-altering substances. There was always something, be it nicotine, caffeine. I got my caffeine right here, obviously. I think it's obvious when I'm caffeinated. Sugar, cannabis, prescription drugs. Totally agree. And then we have Mr. Pug says, the weed in the UK is too effing strong. In the 90s, we used to get soft black Afghan hash. That stuff was nice. And then Kate says, this was awesome. I want more Burnie Bestie lives. Are we vibing Burnie Bestie? Are you, Tara? Are you vibing Burnie? Is this weekend with Burnie?
Yeah, I like I said, I like the Burnie. I was like, I mean, it's just my new name. Maybe this is why Tara's struggling to get things done. I can't smoke. No, like that's the thing. Like I trust me. I've tried not smoking at all. I've tried smoking before. I've tried smoking during. I've tried.
Have you tried taking a trip? Not taking a trip.
Like I've tried it all, and I really doesn't matter. I just
Mr.
sober
Pug
or
says,
not sober.
yes, would love to see this live stream again. And then we have Mags1 saying, it's a vibe. Yo, it's a vibe. We vibing up in here. Let's go a little bit longer. Let's make this. Does 90 minutes sound good? We got 6 minutes. Should we wrap this up? How are we feeling? I feel like 90 minutes is a solid, fun Sunday vibes.
I agree.
Okay, Jim says, I did like the escapee costumes with the other lady. Yes, Carrie is such a vibe. Oh my God. We had so much fun. I was like, what if we put chips all over us like it was some sort of like medal of honor or badge or something, and we're boasting, and because you're more sober than me, that you are just like chipped the fuck up, and I have to like listen to you because I have less chips.
Yeah. It's funny because you're saying it as a joke, but like that's basically the vibe. Like that's real, you know? Crazy.
Oh my God. I was dying too when we were filming that. Like, we literally, so I printed out a list of all the things and we had them in front of us so that if we didn't know what to say, we just go start. And we just were like, well, you guys, if you saw the video, we're parroting the ideology. We're literally just saying the thought stopping cliches back and forth. And what we both realized after we stopped recording the podcast, we powwowed a little bit afterwards. And I was like, you know what? It was like, it didn't even matter what you said. It didn't matter which one I followed up with. Somehow it kind of made sense in a nonsensical bullshittery way. I'd just be like, oh, easy does it. Oh, live and let live. Turn it over. Flip about, pray about it. Like, no matter, it's like you could literally say them anywhere, and it just sounded like AA craziness.
Yeah. Oh. Oh my goodness.
Let's see.
90 live streams in 90 minutes.
We're going to do 90 and 90, 90-minute live streams, 90 days, 90-minute live streams. Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
That's too funny.
Lavender Foxa says, this has been lovely, really helps support my recovery from recovery. Yeah. I honestly, I wish that was known mainstream. I think I would even have less of a problem. Maybe I'd have to think about this deeper. Less of a problem with AA if it was known globally that there's going to be the next step after AA is a recovery from AA. If that you knew the same way that if like when people consider chemo, they know that it's going to be hard on their body, right? I'm speaking out of context. I've never gone through that, but we kind of know, even if we've never been in that situation, that the treatment is going to cause some harm, but it is going to be worth it in the long run. Maybe it depends upon our situation, right? Again, I'm speaking out of context. But so if people knew that the treatment, the treatment, even though most people get sober without treatment, the idea of treatment is even not necessarily true. Right. But if you knew that recovery from recovery was a phase, I would feel better about people going through the recovery process. If I knew that there would be a point when I could just like check out and then work on then move into a recovering from recovery, whether it was watching YouTubes like this or doing like a specific workbook or getting a specific recovery from recovery therapist or whatever it was, I'd feel better about that. I just feel like we're being lied to and it's fucked up. And the way I really feel about it is we've all likely already been to hell and back. And that's the reason why we even walked in the cult in the first place, because we had already been to hell and back. That was my experience. I had already been to hell with my drinking. And that to lie to us afterwards with this, and the attitude that seems to come through my culty commenters sometimes on my channel is that because that it's okay to treat us as dumb, but they don't say that about themselves, right? People tend to have this like arrogance about them. We should lie to them, or we should convince them that AA is the way because they don't know any better and they're going to die. It's like, what about we're all just fucking equal, bro? Like, why do we have to be condescending and we have to manipulate you and lie to you for your own good, but we never tell you that you've been manipulated and lied to? It's like, it's this weird attitude where it's okay to scam people because they need it. It's for their best interest. But who are you to decide to like con us for our best interest? I just feel so conflicted about that.
And it sucks because the people that are doing that don't even know that they've been conned. You know what I mean? Like in their eyes, those people are trying to save your life. You know, like they truly think that you're sick and you're suffering and that you don't know what's good for you. They're not doing it because they're assholes, right? Like they're doing it because they think that they have the solution. So they're going to try to save you because, well, a little bit selfishly, their sobriety depends on it, right? You can't keep it unless you give it away type vibe. But most of them are complete assholes in the name of saving your life because they think that's what it takes. So it gets even more complicated when you think about some of these complete dickheads are really being dickheads because they think they're going to help save you. So it's like, it makes it even more like, wah, you know? I just started my sobriety journey and immediately realized that AA was a cult. Lucky I didn't. Glad I found your channel. Appreciate critical thinking and science over God fear mongers. Yeah. Over the God
Yes,
fear mongers.
yes. Okay, so Team Freedom, this is what we're thinking about doing. We're thinking about alternating whose channel we go live on, 1 week on mine, 1 week on hers, or every other week, or whatever we decide to do. If we do it ongoing, that might be the idea. So you're probably going to want to shout out commercial, incoming commercial alert. You might want to head over to Tara, Burn the Stigma YouTube. I've linked it below in the description, and you might want to give her a little subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to be going live with her on her channel as well. As we figure this out, I don't know, we're both using a new platform to do this now. I like this platform because we can put the comments up. That's been super fun. I really like hearing what you specifically you, I'm talking to you, all of the yous, but specifically you are thinking. So it's nice for me. I love putting the comments up. Yeah. Let's see. Kate says, I think culty commenters are the ones who are actually most insecure about the program. They feel threatened. Totally agree.
Yeah.
But they probably don't know it, right?
Right.
We can't see it. And then 48 gigahertz, 24 bits. I slaughtered that. Thought dickhead, just a UK slang term.
We use it a lot here in Boston, I'll tell you that.
You use what? Wait, you use what?
Dickhead.
Oh, I was thinking those were together. I heard you guys talk about massholes, right?
Yeah, massholes. Yep.
Yeah, I don't use the word dickhead. I do say fuck a lot, but you know. Great idea, do it. Yeah, could be fun. And then Mags1 says, the fact that I was afraid to even watch reprogramming content in the beginning is proof that I knew in my gut I had been programmed and duped. Totally. Yeah. And then DW says, AA 100% treats addiction as a moral failing. Therefore, the solution is to overcome your, quote, sins. I'm a Catholic, and even I don't subscribe to that. Totally. Yeah. Well, this has been super fun.
Yeah.
It's been, Tara, it's been so great to have you on the Sobriety Bestie channel. I can't wait to come on your channel. If you guys want to know, if you want to join the deprogramming community, I've checked below. It's called Deprogram Lounge. We have Zooms and a book club, and it's an app. And so you can get in there and like talk with other people and stuff like that. If you are in the Deprogram Lounge, I probably will announce in there when I'm going to be on with Burn the Stigma channel. And so, what we talked about was doing it every other week, so once a month we're live together on my channel, and once a month we're live together on her channel. But we're just trying to see how to best connect with you, spark these conversations. We're really, the way that I see it is that but really I'll speak for myself. I'm just sparking conversations because I'm just one perspective, right? And a lot of even what I said 6 months ago, I don't see the same way now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm evolving. So it's not about what I say clearly. And when you guys say to me, I don't agree with everything you say, I'm like, great. And I probably wouldn't agree with everything you say. And that's the way I want it to be. We don't have to. We're not in a cult. We are not in a cult.
Right.
So we're thinking about doing that. I don't know. I mean, maybe we'd get crazy and even go every week. We just feel out how it works, what we feel we're up to. And what we feel is, I don't know. And hearing from you always helps inspire things. I started my deprogramming group because it was one of you was DMing me all the time saying you should start a group. I don't want to start a group. And then Tara's like, we should go live. I'm like, I don't want to go live. I don't want to do any of this.
I just want to make content that I don't have to edit.
I didn't even want to make content.
Well, you're really good at it.
So. I don't want to talk about AA on the internet. Are you kidding? Have you seen how much fuckery I get for it?
Yeah, but you're good at it. You're consistent. So
well, but I think that's the point. It's like the fear is going to say no, or the I don't know how to do it will say no, but then the soul or the gut or the intuition's like go this way. And so to me, that's the journey. It's like just keep going. Let's see. Let's just look at a little more of these comments and then we could wrap up. Okay, we have a little heart bomb. Thank you, Blue Butterfly. What is this one? Lavender Foxes. We're very fond of the dickhead here in Philly, lol, as in backdoor dickhead when the bus driver doesn't open the door for us fast enough.
Perfect.
Oh my God.
This must be a East Coast thing, right?
I like mofo, but like extended. I don't know why that for some reason that vibes with me. Oh, well, actually, I have a true confession. If we're going to do rigorous honesty right here, right now, I think probably my favorite word is quite controversial, and most Americans are highly allergic to it, and it might be offensive. I won't actually say it because some of y'all might freak the fuck out. It starts with a C and
I
it
love
ends
that
with
one.
an unt, and it's my favorite
I
word.
love it too.
And I can go into why later, but basically, the past decade, the majority of my friends have been Australian, living over in Southeast Asia, and they love that word. It's basically like an aloha. And the first time I ever heard it freely said was actually in Alcoholics Anonymous. They were dropping the C-bomb all the fucking time. And as an American, I was like, whoa, if there's like 5 words you never say as an American, that's in the top 5, right? For sure. And I was like, wow, wow, wow. But I've heard it so much. And then I've like reclaimed my agency around that word, if that makes any sense. I've deprogrammed from it meaning something bad. And I've come to the point where I'm like, it's technically describing a part of my body. Go fuck yourself if I can't own every word that describes part of the female anatomy. Like, I don't know. I just probably should end here. Probably should end here. Let's see. Dickhead is such a UK slang. Okay. Yeah. It would be fun to flip the script on the cliches. So many of them work both ways, like false evidence appearing real. We say that in the UK all the time. We got a little C-bomb shout out, I think. What does
I don't
this
know how to say that word either.
This is a place, I think. Carnarvon.
Never heard of it, yeah.
It's a term of endearment. That's how I feel about it. Literally, I call her my Bali bestie. My Bali bestie. Every single day, I get a reel from her from TikTok or Instagram or something. Just truth be told, every day I get a reel or several reels from her, and it all has to do with the letter C, the C word. And they're just so funny, and there's so many of them. And I've thought about posting them on the internet, and I'm like, I can't forward this, even though it's so fucking funny. I'm no longer powerless over that word. But in all seriousness, it really speaks to that we can deprogram from what we're told is bad and wrong and make decisions for ourselves and go from anything feeling super scary and triggering and uncomfortable to actually being neutral or actually having no problem or actually being fond of something. That's what's available for us with our nervous systems. We can completely rewire ourselves, even if it's a word that would normally feel so triggering or anything, to a whole different experience of life. And I love that about us. I love that the brains are essentially, plastic.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can say this out loud. In Welsh, it's cont.
Huh.
The first time I was called, only one time was I actually called a C word. It was by an 80-year-old when I worked at a rehab in Bali. I was the staff at the rehab. My training was that I did the 12 steps, by the way. How bullshit is that? And I was working in a rehab, and an 80-year-old Australian lady called me an effing C. And I was like, found my people. Jim says, see, when they say I suffer from an allergy, no one sent samples to the science lab for the results. Yeah, totally. Okay, well, y'all, I could go on for hours and hours and hours. It's a thing called hyperfocus or special interest or I don't even like the term special interest. I could lock onto one thing and keep going. I mean, I could do what did they call them? Drunk marathons at Christmas when they would have those meetings?
Drunkathons, yeah.
Drunkathons.
The alkathons.
I could do a Burnie and Bestie live-a-thon, and then I might need to go take a nap and Netflix for a couple days to recover. But gotta end this. It was so much fun. I really appreciate everybody who commented and joined the conversation. I appreciate everybody who didn't feel like commenting but wanted to join. That's how I felt when I first was leaving AA. I didn't want to leave any comments. I did not leave any comments for 5 fucking years after leaving AA on the internet about leaving AA. So, if that's your vibe, I get that too. If you're watching the replay, I look forward to seeing you in the comments and engaging with you there. And I just wish everybody so much, can I say it, motherfucking freedom after 12-step ideology.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a good week ahead, and we'll see ya.
Bye. Take care.
I don't even know what to do.
Hang on a second.